Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because there's some intriguing, potentially game-changing news coming out of the NFL that directly involves our beloved Seattle Seahawks. And trust me, this isn't just some offhand rumor. We're talking about credible sources, including Adam Schefter, whispering about a possible blockbuster trade that could shake up the entire NFC West division. The whispers are that the New Orleans Saints, a team in rebuild mode with a disappointing 2-5 record and a defense that's giving up a staggering 6 points per game, might be looking to shake things up by trading away one of their most promising offensive weapons, wide receiver Chris Olave. Now Olave, just 25 years old, is a pro bowler with incredible upside, especially in the vertical game. His 2025 stats up to September 15 show just why he's considered such a valuable asset. He's caught 30 passes for 462 yards, averaging 4 yards per reception with 4 touchdowns. He boasts an 88.7 PFF grade, a plus 0.29 EPA per target, and an average of 4.8 yards after catch per reception. Plus, he's got a 71% contested catch rate, meaning he's not afraid to go up against defenders to make the catch. And he ranks in the top 4 in deep routes, averaging 3 yards per route. That kind of explosiveness is exactly what the Seahawks need to elevate their passing attack, especially after the injury to Derek Young. Olave's career totals are impressive. Over 200 receiving yards and 19 touchdowns, with a catch rate of around 65%. But a recent hip injury in 2025 limited him to just 76 snaps, which is a concern. Still, his potential is undeniable. And if you recall, last season, a trade involving DK Metcalf boosted the Seahawks' aerial yardage by around 200 yards. A clear sign that adding explosive playmakers can transform a passing game. Now, the Saints appear to be willing to part ways with Olave in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft, which is a significant offer. The idea behind this move is that the Saints, under coach Dennis Allen and with quarterback Derek Carr, seem to be prioritizing draft picks to develop their young quarterback prospects rather than investing heavily in a veteran like Carr, whose EPA per pass is currently negative at 14. From the Seahawks' perspective, this is a golden opportunity. Imagine pairing Olave with DK Metcalf, whose PFF grade is a stellar 92.1, and Cooper Kupp grading at 87.4. That trio would make the Seahawks' passing game a nightmare for defenses. Sam Darnold, who has been navigating the offense this season, has a completion rate of 66.8% and averages 7.9 yards per attempt, with 232 yards per game. Adding Olave could elevate those numbers significantly, projecting a boost of around 15% in offensive DVOA and a 23% increase in big plays. This would also improve their red zone efficiency, pushing their TD rate from 55% to around 68%, especially with the recent mismatch created after Christian Haynes' injury. He's out with a pectoral injury, as reported by CBS on October 20th. The Seahawks' offense, already potent with the likes of Metcalf and Kupp, would become even more dangerous, forcing defenses to respect every part of the field. And let's not forget about the defense, which has been playing at an elite level lately. With 15 sacks so far this season, Seattle's defense is creating consistent pressure, and adding an offensive weapon like Olave would take some pressure off the defense to perform perfectly every game. The synergy between the offense and defense is evident, and a move like this could transform the Seahawks into even more serious contenders. The recent betting odds reflect this optimism. After a slow start, the Seahawks' Super Bowl odds have improved from plus 700 to plus 350, according to DraftKings, largely thanks to a 5-win streak after the bye week. This team is trending upward, and adding a player like Olave could be the final piece to push them into the upper echelon of the league, especially in the playoffs where big plays and explosive offenses tend to decide games. Now let's talk a little about the NFC West itself. The 49ers are still the team to beat, with their dominant defense and an offense that has been clicking under Brock Purdy. But the Seahawks are not just playing for the wild card. They're positioning themselves as serious contenders for a deep playoff run. The addition of a player like Olave would amplify their offensive threats and put more pressure on divisional rivals like the 49ers and the Rams, who are also trying to build momentum. The NFC West is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions this season, and this kind of strategic move could be the difference maker in who ultimately claims the division title and makes a deep postseason run. On the other hand, the New Orleans Saints seem to be leaning toward a different strategy. With Derek Carr struggling a bit and the team looking to prioritize draft picks for future QB development, they might be willing to part ways with Olave to recoup some assets. The Saints' focus seems to be on building through the draft and developing their young talent, rather than relying solely on veteran stars. They have already suffered some setbacks with their defense, which is giving up too many points, and their offensive line could also use reinforcements. So trading Olave for a second-round pick makes strategic sense for them, even if it might seem like a gamble at this point. But for the Seahawks, this potential trade sparks a lot of excitement. Imagine a lineup that includes Metcalf, Kupp, and Olave. It's a nightmare for defenses. The speed, the route running, the ability to make plays down the field, all of that would make the Seahawks' offense one of the most explosive in the league. It would allow them to stretch the field vertically and open up underneath routes for other receivers and tight ends, creating mismatches everywhere. Sam Darnold, who's shown flashes of competence and poise this season, would have even more options, and that could translate into a much more efficient offense. Looking at the bigger picture, this move could be a catalyst for the Seahawks to not only reach the playoffs, but also make a serious push for the Super Bowl. With their defense playing at a high level and their offense poised for a leap, adding a player of Olave's caliber might be the missing piece that elevates them from good to great. And it's worth noting that the team's history of making bold moves, such as trading for Metcalf and building a strong core, points to the fact that the Seahawks are not afraid to go all in when the opportunity presents itself. They've shown resilience and a knack for identifying talent that can make a difference. Of course, there are questions and skepticism from some sides, particularly from the Saints camp, which might be hesitant to part with a young, promising receiver like Olave for just a second-round pick. But in the current NFL landscape, where big plays and explosive offenses often determine the outcome, this kind of move could be exactly what the Seahawks need to take the next step. The division race is tightening, and every game matters more than ever. The Seahawks have already shown they can compete with top teams, and with this kind of upgrade, they could be the team to beat in the NFC West. Now, as we look ahead, it's all about how this potential deal develops and whether the Seahawks can pull the trigger. If they do, it could be one of the most impactful trades of the season, not just for their team, but for the entire league. The fans are already buzzing, imagining Olave stretching the field, making those incredible contested catches, and helping the Seahawks dominate on offense. It's a tantalizing prospect, and one that could make this season unforgettable. So keep your eyes peeled, folks, because things are heating up, and the Seahawks might be on the verge of a move that propels them even closer to that elusive Super Bowl title. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Olave trade? Do you think it's a move that could push the Seahawks over the top? Or do you believe they should hold on to their assets and build differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. This is a team that's always been about resilience, innovation, and taking risks to win big. And if this move happens, it could be the spark that ignites a new era of dominance for the Seahawks. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Seahawks news, rumors, and analysis. Thanks for being here, and as always, go Hawks.